I just did.
Welcome to the Sedona Community Forum. I'm Paul Friedman, hosting today's online session, which is part of the programming of the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, OLLI, which is sponsored by the Lifelong Learning Division of Yavapai College. In these online programs, these Sedona Community Forums, we're hearing from and interacting with local leaders whose work is providing help to our community during this pandemic. Our aim is to provide a backstage view, an insider's take on how the organization is accommodating to the demands of this situation. Our guest of honor today is Linda Shook, the Associate Dean of the Sedona Center and the Director of OLLI. Like so many of us, her world was turned upside down about a month ago. Linda, would you tell us a bit about how OLLI functions and how this pandemic has affected your work?
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate your giving me this opportunity to talk to people about what OLLI is and where we find ourselves today. As you're aware, OLLI is a membership program for older adults. It's a partnership between Yavapai College and the Bernard Osher Foundation. The premise of our program is to provide academic not-for-credit programming for the older adult, which is 50 years and beyond. So we are thriving here in Sedona and the Verde Valley with a membership of near 1,000 just on this side of the mountain, doing primarily face-to-face learning. The week of March 8th was spring break for Yavapai College. I, like most of our OLLI members and traditional students, were on holiday. I was in Tucson, just enjoying that beautiful part of our state during a very moderate time of temperature. I received the call and started noticing information going on about the COVID-19 pandemic. And as the days progressed of our spring break and then the next week returning to work, it became very evident that for the health and safety of not only our students, but for our staff and faculty and our community, we needed to go completely into online learning. Thanks to the leadership of President Lisa Ryan and her administration, everyone acted quickly. Not just our for-credit programs, but our not-for-credit programs like the OLLI program and our community education programs. It's been a whirlwind, it's been very unexpected, and a time full of many challenges that we now see are great opportunities for us. OLLI is it's one of 124 programs like this across the country, 5 of which are located in community colleges. So we have a mandate to provide information and services that our community wants. We're very, very lucky in the Sedona and Verde Valley in that we have a leadership team of volunteer OLLI members. So once this began to unfold in front of our very eyes, where we went from a fully staffed, fully functioning program to no one working at the Sedona Center, everyone being told to work remotely, we were in an unusual situation in that we were in between our winter term and we were just about to begin our spring term. We had our catalog, our print catalog in the mail, I mean, not in the mail, but at the printer. We were able within an hour, 2 hours of the catalog being printed to say, stop the presses. We may not need to be doing this. We had a lot of fast adjustments to make, and I can tell you, I look back on it now, and even though it was unexpected and overwhelming at the moment, there is a sense that I could see the pieces fell into place as nicely as they could in the most unexpected circumstances.
Wonderful. So you called meetings of your team, the volunteers who have stepped up to help backstage make OLLI function well. And I imagine the first decision was to cancel the usual spring semester, as you mentioned, and to insert a replacement. Would you tell us a little bit about the planning and the procedures for what you're going to do in the spring term instead of the usual program?
Right, Paul. We normally have a 6-week, at least, spring term. We had 100 classes scheduled with our OLLI. We have OLLI facilitators. We have people from the community that teach for us. We were all ready to go. Then this happened. And fortunately, our college has what we're using now, this communications online technology called Zoom. We put a call out to our facilitators, many of whom were just as surprised as we were. We had a core group that said, look, I'm totally behind you, but I'm not certain I want to go online yet. And we made a decision with our OLLI Curriculum Committee, our OLLI Technology Committee, and our OLLI Leadership Team, with great support from the Yavapai College Office of Information Technology, that we would try to put some classes online to be realistic in what we could do and offer a 3-week kind of mini term with the focus for us. And I'd like to, if we have time, to talk a little bit about our summer term, which will also be online, and what we're going to do. But in this quick period of turning around next week, this is actually kind of our kickoff week to our mini spring term that will begin on Monday. And OLLI members, as well as people of the community, can sign up for courses, and I can tell you about that as well. But we have about 15 different programs that will be offered over the next 3 weeks that people can sign on and participate. We've tried to schedule all of that programming so that the classes would be singular. There won't be any competition, so people can take in as much as they want. The beauty of OLLI is that it attracts people who love to learn, lifelong learners. So we want to make this as available as possible to all of them. The Zoom technology, we've been doing Zoom trainings. We did a training today for students to acclimate them to Zoom. Zoom has free accounts for just the layperson. And then there's also a Zoom Pro account, and all of our OLLI facilitators get a Pro account that allows them more abilities and more tools to use in their teaching. So we're excited about that. We've been able to do that. And I won't start with listing names, but our technology committee, all of these lay members who understand technology, stepped up to the plate and said, I know how to edit. I know how to teach a class online. It's forced us in a good way to consider online learning as the norm. We want to very much go back to our face-to-face learning. That's how Mr. Osher set up the programs, these individual programs, was that idea of community and learning in community. We're just going to shift for a while to our learning community will be on online community. And we're doing a lot of things. We have a social chat room for our OLLI members. We've got a couple special interest groups that people can gather together and have conversation and talk about similar topics. But it's been very quick. The spring term is totally free to our members. We are normally charge our members for specific classes, but everything is free. It's the right thing to do. It's been a challenge financially, just as every other not-for-profit program is facing a challenge. But we've had members also step up to the plate for that. I'm really excited to talk about, we have programs this spring, and then also we're going to be back to about 25 classes this summer, which is very close to our normal level for summer. And we'll be doing that for a 5-week period and telling people about opportunities to learn. And then in the fall, what we're going to try to do is offer face-to-face, online, and then hybrid learning for those people that think, well, normally I'm in Minnesota in the fall, but I'd like to log on to OLLI and take a class. So there's some positives that are coming out of this very unexpected, unanticipated, sometimes stressful period of changing our learning. So there are opportunities to grow and to expand, and if you're home from OLLI, if you're home unwell, to come to a meeting, you'll now be able to log in and attend a meeting. But for the next 2 terms, we'll be completely online.
Oh, that sounds like an amazing transition. And I can see that that would provide some benefits because it's accessible now to people who don't come to the building. By the way, speaking of the building, I noticed behind you a very lovely background. Are you sitting in the Sedona Center right now?
I am, Paul. This is such a beautiful building and usually so full of life right now. that I wanted to be back in here to remind our members and also to tell people in the community about the Sedona Center if they haven't visited. Now's not the time to swing by and see me, but hopefully later this year you'll be able to come in and resume activities and see the Sedona Center. Paul, if I might, I'd like to point out about 6 ways that we realize now that we were kind of preparing for this kind of event without even being aware. Last fall, our OLLI program really made a concerted effort to make registration available online. So many people now are equipped to use our registration page online, which is how you'll register for our spring and our summer classes. We set up an OLLI email account that is generic. It's OLLI, O-L-L-I-S for Sedona and V for Verde at yc.edu. You can email that account 24 hours a day, and one of our fabulous staff people, Linda, Rita, Solaris, and Jen would be available to respond to those messages. Even though we're not here in the building, we're all working remotely. We also really worked hard with we had a lot of great leaders, and we put together a committee structure so that we have a technology committee, a curriculum committee, an administration and finance committee, and a leadership council. Behind the scenes, and our OLLI members and probably people in our community don't even realize they're OLLI leaders, volunteers, just like you, Paul, that believe so much in this type of learning, the importance of using our mind and our body, and have given back so much time to helping us through this transition period. As I mentioned just briefly, everyone has a financial need. These not-for-profit programs, as ours is, housed within a community college. We set up a development committee also. This was months ago, and we have a special place where people can donate. Many of our OLLI members chose they had already paid their spring tuition and said, you know what, keep that money. We realize that you've lost all your funding for spring because we had to cancel it, and they have given their money for that. So we're very grateful that we already had that in place, and that was driven by our members. We also have a very healthy relationship with our college's Office of Information Technology, and we've received great support from them on how to work our technology. They've taught the staff and our leaders who weren't aware how to use the technology, and they're behind the scenes just as they would be. As I look into room 34 where Paul's classes would be taught and other classes, we can pick up the phone, we can go online and say, we're having difficulty, could you help us figure it out? And they're there for us. All these steps that we took, sometimes in life we don't understand until we stop and look behind and realize, oh, that is why that happened. That is why that happened. So dominoes have fallen into place nicely for us, but we still have lots of opportunities for people to help and to participate in needs. And Paul, one of our biggest focuses now are we could use more facilitators, people that would like to teach online, OLLI members who may be spending in Wisconsin right now, but they could still teach for us online, because where you're located doesn't matter when you're offering completely online classes and with Zoom. Community leaders that might want to teach a class, or people in the community that may not have heard of OLLI. This is a great time to try out learning with your peers, learning for the fun of it, and learning to, because we have that wonderful opportunity now. This is an unusual situation, but it's built perfectly for lifelong learners, people that are ready to take on new challenges, try new things, and to see every opportunity as an opportunity to learn something.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let me just review in my mind how the changes that OLLI has made for this spring term affect various people in different situations. If I'm a member of the community and I have not been involved in OLLI before, is there a way that I can use this spring term as an opportunity to sample it? Can I enroll in your program? Does it require any fees or any membership engagement in order to do that? Or is everyone welcome to participate in your spring programming?
For asking that. As I mentioned, we are a membership organization, so we have set up our program so that we have some programs this offered this spring that are just for members, but we've offered up others for people in the community. No charge. We just ask that you go to our website and go online, and probably the fastest way, saying a long website can be difficult, but if anyone in the community is interested, if they would just email us at OLLI, OLLISV, at yc.edu, they can say, hey, I'm in the community, I'm interested, I hear you have some programs that I can sign up for, and we'll get them set up. If you want to do a little investigation, if you're a lifelong learner and you want to try this on your own, just Google OLLI at Sedona Verde Valley, and you can look on our website, our YouTube page, or our Facebook, and you'll be able to see what the classes are, the times, and when you could become involved. We're going to be adding programming. We have scheduled programming that begins Monday that will run through May 15th, and then we'll be adding more programs for June. And then at the end of June, our summer term will begin for 5 weeks. These programs that you and I are doing today, we've done several of these with our mayor and city manager, the Chamber of Commerce director, the superintendent of schools. So many programs out there we're featuring. These programs are all available at those same 3 places, our website, at our Facebook, and on our YouTube channel, so that you can learn about not just OLLI, but all the other programs that they're finding ways to make life our new normal. As I heard Jennifer Wesselhoff from the Chamber mention, this is our opportunity to create a new, healthier normal, but ways we can connect with each other in a community and also do all those things that are important to lifelong learners, and that's to keep our mind and body active.
Sounds great. So if I'm an OLLI member and I'm an OLLI member and I want to participate in the spring program, I go to the website and I register. Is there any limit on the number of people who are admitted to these classes?
The way we have it set up now, Paul, it is online, but we've found that when we get more than 20 in a class, sometimes it can be a little challenging. I think partly because we're all so excited to get to communicate, and it is a new technology. That's why we've been doing the training, the orientation classes we've been doing. But all of our OLLI members should have already received an email directly from me saying, this is how you register for classes. If you're an OLLI member out there and you can't locate that email, or if you have a question, just simply email us and we can send it right back out. And OLLI members, every Friday during the pandemic, and even in between that time, you'll be getting heads up emails from us telling you about opportunities. We celebrated Earth Day. We partnered with Flagstaff and also with our friends in Cottonwood. We offered 2 Earth Day online celebrations. Anytime we had Rebecca Skloot, who wrote The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. We had a Friday night free event with the author. The Yavapai College Performing Arts Center is offering movies for free. I send those links out to our members so that they can participate in those. We are looking for ways to connect, and I encourage all of our members, if they think of things or have ideas, suggestions, throw them out there. Email us, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. This is an exciting time for innovators and for people that have fresh ideas that they want to try something. If you want to set up an OLLI social group, we have a OLLI Facebook group so that we can communicate with each other. If you'd like to set one up just to talk about dogs, by golly, we can do that. Just let us know. We'll get it all set up.
Sounds wonderful. And last thing is, if I'm looking toward the summer and I'm interested in offering something, a workshop that might be 90 minutes long, I would go to the website. Is that right?
You can go to the website, or you can also just email us. We are trying to, Paul, because we're not printing a catalog right now. This is all online. We're doing it electronically. We're not doing anything with paper, which is also helping us with cost. But you could just, even if it May 15th, you thought of a great idea that you wanted to do, let us know. We'll see how we can plug it in. We're filling up our spaces, and we are trying to space it so that people can participate in as many classes as possible. But if you've got a great idea and you've decided I've mastered Zoom, I've used Zoom to talk to my grandkids, I'm ready to teach my class, we would love to be able to help you set that up. So don't let time be the constraint. Just reach out and we'll try to make it work.
That's great. You've offered a number of very exciting and appealing possibilities, and it sounds like you'll be continuing to do that as time goes on. So people can connect via email or the website or the Facebook page to find out the next steps in OLLI's adventurous adaptation to the constraints of this situation. Well, I'm sure we could go on, but we about run out of time, Linda. I want to thank you. I want to thank our guest of honor today, Linda Shook, the Associate Dean of Yavapai College in charge of the Sedona Center and the Director of OLLI, for sharing with us your adventure in providing services to our community's lifelong learners over the past month or so. And I want to let everyone know that there are other programs of this sort available wherever you found this one. Interviews with community leaders, catching us up on how their organizations are adapting to the situation that we're in now. And we hope to keep these going so that our community knows as much as possible about what's going on locally. Thanks so much for joining us, Linda, and everyone who's watching this video. We appreciate your interest in what we're doing. And I'll sign off with Linda and everyone else right now. Thank you.